wide open skies and Rocky Mountain views. Here, a charming old red barn sits, seemingly out in the middle of nowhere. But this ain't nowhere. Time is flying by as this old red barn stands as it always has, well before the invention of the passenger jet. You may have seen it just a few miles from the airport, just as Pena Boulevard curves east. The barn has its own Google review page where curious people call it majestic. It's a barn doing barn things. A lonely, quiet building surrounded by so much of the present. For years, I've wanted to look through its window to the past. I am trying to find the owner of a piece of property.
Please check the number and dial again.
So I began to look. And I found a story told best by the family who lived it.
Home?
Talk about that. What is that? You say the word home. It's okay, I'm sorry. I know there's probably some really, cherished memories that pop up. Ed, Don, and Debbie. 60 years ago, they were children of the Red Barn, and they remember days like they were yesterday.
We made our own fun, but Dad always said you can't play until your work's done.
Before school, we'd have to do our chores, go out and feed our pets or livestock.
4-H animals.
4-H animals.
That's Dad.
That's our dad.
That's Dad in front of his tractor mailbox.
Their parents were Dean and Delpha Race, who raised them on farmland their family leased since the 1930s. There were cows, hogs, and chickens.
But our neighbors, our closest neighbor was 2 miles.
This aerial photo shows the Red Barn next to their house before the city bought the land and knocked it down in the 1980s. An airport highway was needed.
One of the things I really remember, we used to go up on the top of that and play war. And that whole area out there has changed so much. I mean, it was all dirt road.
In the 1980s, Dean Race once told a newspaper, "Right now I think we need a new airport like I need a third leg."
He's very opinionated.
He'd let you know what he thought about it.
Nowadays, in 2022, it was found that 128,000 vehicles drive by that barn.
Are you kidding?
Every single day.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
What would your dad say if you heard that today?
He wouldn't believe you.
Oh.
He wouldn't believe the growth out there.
No, I mean,
He would just be, devastated.
Once, somebody vandalized the barn. Debbie took this video.
It's like, oh my goodness, look at the barn. It's graffitied. Yeah, it was very shocking.
The city cleaned it up and still takes care of it today with the fence to keep people out. The city of Denver owns this, right?
Yeah, it is airport property out here. At one point we talked about relocating it and maybe creating a plane spotting area. Another time we have talked about maybe creating a public art piece out here and trying to do some restoration, but we really have no plans for it right now.
The small farms that we grew up on like as a family, those are gone for the most part.
I learned Dean Race worked another job off the farm to keep food on the table.
Hard times out there.
At the time, we didn't think so.
We didn't think so. We thought we had it made.
Yeah.
So many memories of struggle and survival.
What was your dad like?
Oh, what a guy. I mean, he's just a fantastic person.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He was one of a kind.
Dedicated. He gave to the community. He was on a lot of different boards.
And everything Mom and Dad did was for us.
Now we know a bit of the story as the world gets noisier and moves in closer. If the Red Barn could talk, now I wonder what it would say.
We were a product of the land, I guess. was a lot of hard work, dedication. It was a strongly knit community at the time. It was a kinder, gentler way back then.